Synchro Turbo's back. Who needs OSS in order to play the game? We have some Traptrix action and branded as well. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome. You want to know what's actually hilarious? The death of OSS in this deck really made people sad. You know, it just made you lose that connection to get to Jet Synchron in order to kind of turbo this out. Also, you know, putting the Diabell Star on the field was a free level 7, so you could just kind of continue to play the game. Well, we've had to find ways to kind of supplement that package and develop this deck in a different direction in order to play it. And that's exactly what we have here. We have a Kashtira base built into this, so that, you know, level 7's easier to synchro with, kind of start climbing on up out here. But we're also playing the Water Enchanters package. To be honest with you, this part hasn't changed. I'm pretty sure most of these builds are still going to be focusing on the Water Enchanter stuff, because, you know, getting the token on the field is your level 4, you get your level 1 tuner on the field. Congratulations, you've got, you know, Junk Speeder in the deck, just fully functions and turns on. Junk Speeder will forever be the card to make sure you hit in this deck, because once you kind of start that piece and you get this deck going, it's insane. Like, all of the tuner value in the world is kind of insane. Now, obviously, I feel like this deck is cut back on a lot of the synchro fat that you had. You know, there's none of that D-wielder guy in here. You know, I see we're playing 2 copies of the Stardust Synchron, which is fine. The 1 Stardust Trail, the 1 Revolution, and of course, you know, the Junk Servant with the Assault. Those are basically your key synchro cards that I would consider out here. You know, this deck also no longer has Baron to floor. And while we are playing the Crimson Dragon, you know, our only real big things we're really caring about here is the Shooting Majestic Stars to kind of make. This deck feels a lot weaker than it once does. It does not mean that it does not work, though. I think that's very important to say. Especially, you know, if you're resolving the Synchro Rumble out here, or you're getting at least a search this off the Crimson Dragon, is pretty good. So, cool little showcase. Next up is Traptrix with Rizal. This has been really cool. The reason why I'm coughing there is because the whole idea behind this deck has just been so crazy to see. Any level 4 deck from the past, you can merge into Rizal, and Rizal just does not care, alright? Like, think about how stupid that level of synergy actually is in the game right now. Because, you know, all the Traptrix stuff, you know, you commit 1 normal summon to this, congratulations, you're off to the races. And if your opponent does something to one of your pieces, or, you know, you need to go down EX line and set things up, I mean, you're already naturally able to make Rafflesia in the regular build. All right, that's not a problem. This deck is just, how much gas can we merge together to get to do things? Now, it's even more BM out here, because we're already inherently building in going second cards into this deck, so you're telling me I can slam down an evenly matched against my opponent, and then I can do full Traptrix and full Rizal combo ending on Dreadnader? That's some bullshit. That, like, you would just be scooping it up at that point. Hey, look, I just lost 7 cards. Time to normal summon, make Traptrix, and then, you know, set up a board, tell my opponent GG, and then make Dreadnader. Like, what in the world are you supposed to do for this? Oh, hey, look, Node, EX, and this. With a whole team. We're not really doing too much there, but, you know, we got full combo on that front. Myra Melio plus Engine. Okay. Maybe this deck had some issues with some of these hands, you know. Oh, hey, look, we have Arachnacompo with the Myra Melio and the Node. Okay, we might be getting some places here. Having this also just turns on full combo, but I've been loving... Granted, you know, the Rizal stuff is a little bit crazy for what it is. I'm just genuinely enjoying what people are throwing around out here, and to what level we're finding this success with this deck. Next up here, we have Branded. I'm so happy to see we're not playing like this 50, 60 card pile out here, because that was the way that this deck was kind of developing for a little while. You know, you had so many people like, hey, you know, let's build this 60 card pile. You know, trust me on this. Having the sauce in this deck is very, very... No, you have to understand that with the way that this deck functions and how quick this meta is right now, bulking the deck down with the quote-unquote extra fat is going to be a little bit of an issue. You cannot risk inconsistencies with this because you need the deck to go. Now, I do like the fact we are playing the Brandon in high spirits. I feel like a lot of decks are kind of straying away from this, which is kind of a nice return in here. Your hand trap base is what? Triple Ash or triple Ghost Ogre and just triple Imperm with a slice of Thrust to be able to kind of toggle on into those other options just so you can kind of try to play the game. We're also doing the 1 Fusion Duplication. Yes, this card can be an annoying little dead draw if you see it, but if your opponent does Ash this and you do have the Fusion Duplication, well, congratulations, you know, you're playing the game now. I also see this deck also only had 14 cards in the side deck. I don't really know how I feel about that. You couldn't have put in another Sanctum or another Barrier, or at least something else kind of off-state or off-center this, because, like, you know, having 5 copies of these versus 4, I think would have been a little bit better overall. But it's cool to see that the 1-up didn't matter all that much, but it's just, you're playing branded. You want as much of a chance to play the game as you possibly can. And I feel like you're really hurting those consistency options by not maximizing to the fullest out here. Outside of that, you're still playing branded. I know I just said that, but congratulations. It's really cool to still see that, you know, this fan favorite deck is still doing very, very well. Ooh, we have some Fire King action for you out here. Now, I want to tell you straight up, losing OSS, I know a lot of people were like, Fire King is dead, just toss it in the trash and get rid of it. No, actually. There's been a really cool new interaction showing up out here with the actual Arsenal Falcon out here. Now, because it's just detached material from the special summon at level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck. So, you know who's our Winged Beast here, right? It's actually this little guy right here. We're now getting access to the Fire King Ponix straight out of this, which is really, really funny, actually. Having access to Ponix to get the whole package going for the deck is really, really good. So we found our workaround with OSS. We just have to play a Kashtira base in order to do it. And if your opponent's really going to try to hold, you know, they're going to see Kashtira cards coming down, and their game plan is going to kind of change. You know, they're probably going to try to cut off the Ray Sloth just so they don't have to deal with the interactions of this, which, that's actually pretty good. Seeing a Ray Sloth automatically should probably bait somebody into their hand trap, because, you know, if they drop the Unicorn and you're just like, ugh, now you're getting the extra deck rip for me. You don't want to give your opponent that knowledge, man. Like, I get it. It might not be worth it, but losing a key 1-of to your opponent and getting shut out actually is very, very annoying. And you don't want to be dealing with playing a game down. And also giving your, especially very early game 1, if you're getting shut out by a Unicorn, then your opponent has your extra deck knowledge for the next 3 games. And that's a little bit insane. Nobody really talks about that interaction with this. That's why, like, this card can be particularly broken in that ability. Is just controlling your opponent is such a dumb thing. Do not underestimate key knowledge, especially, you know, if your opponent's not playing something, you can make different methods. Try to play. Also, no zombie vampire in this list. Okay. Our last list here is Malice playing the Sky Striker package. Now, this list kind of became a little bit more popularized after the YCS. We headed on into the new format out here. I've not seen a crazy takeoff with this, but Sky Striker stuff is just how much can you draw? How much, you know, power can we toggle through? Also, being able to make the Widow Anchor and stuff to steal your opponent's monsters or just negate something is insane. Like, you're playing 19 spell cards in here. You're probably not going to have an issue getting into a key spell card to do the thing. Also, Hornet Drones into a Kagari. Congratulations, you now suddenly have 2 monsters on the field. So now we can essentially start climbing up and, you know, disrupting our opponent. It's pretty gosh darn good. Book of Eclipse is going to be for Rizal, just so you can set their monsters, not really deal with anything. And then your job is just to clean them up on the next turn. The 1 by Steel package here is fine. You know, we're not extending too far beyond this. There have been some builds that have tried to go a little bit further beyond this, but I don't like that. I've also got your triple Parallel Exceed down here in the side deck. I think that this is fine as well. Parallel Exceed's definitely one of those strong cards that can set you up. Now, obviously, because you're playing the Sky Striker stuff, you might not want to toss these into the main deck. This might just be depending on the matchup. You know, you bring these on in as the little extra extenders just so you can play the game. And I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having these showing up as a side deck option, especially if it's a card that you've play tested and it's worked out for you. yeah, that's fine. So what do you guys think about all of these cool, new, awesome decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back there in a day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.